So after the downside, we saw intraday today breaking some very major levels on the futures and the SPY ETF, followed by the upside that we're getting here in the after hours due to Google and Microsoft. A pretty crazy move today. I felt like we needed to go over some technical analysis. So in today's video, we're going to break down some levels that need to be watched, some updated levels on the futures contracts, on the SPY ETF, get you guys prepared for the rest of the week. So I hope you guys do enjoy it. If you do after watching, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, guys, let's start today on the SPY ETF. Let's start here. We'll start with the ETF, then we'll get into the futures contracts. This is the 4-hour chart on the SPY, and the major level that's going to be in watch tomorrow is $406 per share. We moved lower into 406 today. The big downside that we saw intraday, we moved right into 406. Now, this is a pretty major demand level that will have to hold on if you expect there to be some type of bounce tomorrow. If there is any chance of upside tomorrow due to Microsoft and Google earnings on the overall market, on the Nasdaq, on the SPY, 406 must hold. 406 is a previous very important level here and a previous high right here back in March. You can also see that over the last few weeks, beginning of April, we consolidated above 406. Now today, if I go into today's price action, if I go to the hourly chart and I zoom in here, you can see that today we traded right back down into 406 intraday, and we got a green candle off of that level after seeing Microsoft and Google earnings in the after hours. This is going to be your major level to watch. This is the market breaking level, right? If we break under 406, I believe that that is where that downside can really come in. If we go back to that 4-hour chart, we can see that that 406 has sort of been a shelf here for about the last 2 months. It's been a hold here. After we broke below it, we turned it into a major rejection, had a big downside move. After breaking back above it, we held here, and we are back at that level. So I anticipate that if in the future we break under 406, that's sort of the break, right? That's the break that has to be watched. As of right now, Google and Microsoft made the market hold that level. It was pretty close to it at the close today. It was pretty much on it at the close, and the Google and Microsoft earnings helped it bounce off that level. So that is going to be major. That has to be on your charts. If we go to the 15-minute chart, the level that broke today that was very important, that caused the intraday downside, was 410. So we are now below this support at 410, right? Coming into today's price action, we were looking to see if 410 could hold as support. This was Thursday's lows of last week, this was Friday's lows of last week, and this was Monday's lows just yesterday. So coming into the pre-market today, you can see we were holding that 410. After slipping that 410, which was the previous very important demand, you can see the downside that came in intraday. So now that we're under that 410, that is our new level of supply that we have to watch. If we do get a bounce off 406, we can't be just holding and praying for more upside. We have to be watching out for potential rejections now at this 410. That is now going to be your very important supply to the upside to be paying attention to over the next few trading days. So back on the 4-hour chart, even though today's action was pretty aggressive to the downside, I still don't think we've broken anything yet. We do have a lot more earnings to come out, which could influence this market. We've already seen that happening right now after Google and Microsoft. But as it stands today, even with today's downside move, we are still above the major low here on the SPY, and we are still maintaining it, and we're still maintaining this previous high after the Google and Microsoft earnings. So yes, an aggressive downside move, but no, not market breaking yet. I think this 406 is sort of that line in the sand. You can see it's that low here. You can see it's that high here. This correlates to 4,100 on the S&P 500 futures, which I'm about to jump into now. So here on the S&P 500 futures, right, we've been trading between this 4,200 supply and this 4,100 demand. Now, you guys can see on the ES futures, this is the 4-hour chart. This 4,100 level is what held on in the beginning of April. So if we jump back into the hourly here and we zoom in on this hourly, you guys can see we were bouncing off 4,100 here. This is back on the 5th of April, here on the 6th, and here on the 10th. We had a little triple bottom there at 4,100. That triple bottom led us to move into the 4,200 supply, which we did reject. Now, today, we moved back into that 4,100, and at the close, it looked a little scary, right? It looked like, oh, maybe this 4,100's about to break. So you can see we were trying to hold 4,100 from around 1 o'clock to just about close, right? For almost 3-4 hours, 3 hours, we were just holding on to that 4100. Eventually, we broke it into close, but you can see the reaction of Google and Microsoft. So again, this Google and Microsoft earnings has pushed the S&P 500 back above 4100. That's an interesting hold, right? If we go to the hourly chart, we can see the importance of that 4100 level, which we are now holding once again. So coming into the next following days, right, we need to see, does 41 hold on or does 4100 lose, right? Do we lose this once again? If we start to turn 4100 into rejections, that is where I think that downside comes in. That is the same as the SPY 406 level. So that SPY 406 level that's holding here that we held today, if we go to the ES, you can see the same chart. This is where we held previously. We held on to that again today. So yes, an aggressive downside move today, but we did not lose this 4100 and we did not lose this 406. That is very important. That is something that has to be paid attention to. Now, the level that broke today that caused the S&P 500 downside, we talked about this one on the SPY. It was 410 on the SPY. If we go to the ES, this was around the 4135 level. So if we go to the 15-minute chart, we can see that 4135 was where we held demand here, and held demand here. This was Thursday, Friday, and Monday of this week. Now that we are trading below it, right, we broke that level today, and after breaking that level today, you guys can see the downside that came in, and I'm going to show you something really nice today. Look at this, right? Break and retest of that level intraday. This was a fantastic rejection at that 4135. Now that we are trading below this level, this is where we need to watch for rejections. So if we do trade higher off the 4100, we now need to be careful of the 4135, right? This is our new major supply level, which was the previous lows that we're holding early this week and late last week. So as we approach tomorrow's market, we need to understand 4100 is still holding on. That's a level that has to be watched. We have to be careful shorting into that level. On the SPY, 406. 406 is still holding. It held intraday today, and it is moving higher due to Microsoft and Google earnings. We have to be careful shorting into that 406. On the upside, if we do retrace some of today's move, we have to be careful of that 4135 supply, which we broke today, which caused the downside today, right? That is the break that caused the downside today. On the SPY, it's 410, right? The 410 level was previously holding, and today, if I move this over, you can see that we broke it, we rejected it, and now we have to watch. If we trade back up and retrace some of today's downside, that is where we need to watch for rejections. Now, while the SPY and S&P are holding those key levels, this one's a little concerning on the Nasdaq, and I want to bring this one up because this is pretty key for tech. Now, while the Nasdaq is bouncing after hours because of Microsoft, because of Google, there's a key level that's rejecting right now in the after hours, which is very important. So we had this previous low on the Nasdaq here at around this 12,925.50. This was the previous low. This is back on the 12th of April. This was really the extreme low of the channel that needed to hold on for the market to hold up. If we go to today's price action, you guys can see that after we broke this 12,925.50 level, you can see that is right here. After we broke it and turned it into a rejection intraday today, that is what caused that extreme downside, right? That is the downside that really came in after we broke below this extreme low right here. And the exact low of this candle is 12,925.50. 12,925.50 is the exact low of this April 12th candle and the extreme channel low. Now you can see once again, right, if we go to the 5-minute chart, you can see the reaction intraday today, the little double top that came in at that exact level. You can also see that after Microsoft and Google earnings, right now as I make this video, where did the Nasdaq stop after the upside push? It stopped at the exact level once again. So this level must be on your charts tomorrow for the Nasdaq. 12,925.50, the extreme channel low previously, which is still turning into a rejection. So if we do not get back above this level, right, if we do not break back above this 12,925.50, the Nasdaq could stay weak here, right? We need to get back above this channel low here for the Nasdaq to have any chance of a potential upside move. So this is a must-watch level tomorrow as we approach the market open. Now on the QQQ, this is 313, that 12,925.50 level that I was talking about on the Nasdaq futures. On the QQQ, this is 313 flat. And you guys can see we had previous demand step up here at 313, and that channel low is around 313. Now today, if we go to the 5-minute chart, you guys can see that after we broke under that 313, you can see we were not able to get back above. We broke below. We had a little double top around this 313, and that is what caused that afternoon downside. We held this 310 area, but you can see in the after hours, after the push due to Google and Microsoft, we stopped at 313. So tomorrow, we have to be watching 313 on the QQQ. That is going to be something to pay attention to. If we cannot get back above 313, we have to be careful of rejections on the Qs right there. That equals this 12,925 level on the Nasdaq futures. That must break back above if we want to see further upside. This could turn into a rejection point. That would be a rejection of the previous channel low, which is right here on the Nasdaq, 12,925.50. So I figured I'd throw in some levels here on the two stocks that just reported earnings, which is Microsoft and Google. This is Microsoft on the daily chart, and you can see over the last few days, we have rejected this pretty major 290 to 292 supply, right? We had major supply rejections here. We had another major supply rejection here, and over the last few days, you can see another major supply rejection. Now, this daily chart does not include after hours. So what you're going to see is if I go to the 4-hour chart and we zoom into the after hours action, look at where Microsoft just pushed up into after earnings today. So we just pushed right into major supply after the earnings right now in the after hours. Does this level reject tomorrow? Do we look to fade this rejection point? That is very possible and maybe something to be watching tomorrow. This is where we rejected. This is where we rejected. And remember, when we went to that daily chart, that is also where we rejected in the past, right? Rejection, rejection. And if we go back to the 4-hour, that is where we just pushed up into after earnings in the after hours. So that is going to be a major level to watch tomorrow on Microsoft, up here around that 290 to 292 supply. So the other stock that just reported earnings in the after hours was Google, and we can see that Google had some previous rejections here around that 108, 109. We had some rejections here back in early April, rejections here in mid-April, and on the earnings in the after hours, look at where Google just pushed up into. We had a big push in the after hours right into where we rejected here, and also rejected back in the past, back here around 108, 109. So if we go to the 5-minute chart, you can see, look at where Google is starting to find some struggle here in the after hours right now. A level that has to be watched tomorrow, this 108.50, 109 level on Google. Be careful getting too, suckered into this upside move here after hours. These are still some major rejection points that will have to break and hold for a continuation to the upside on earnings. So Google 108, 109, big level to watch there. And then Microsoft 290, 292 supply. We just pushed up into supply levels on both Microsoft and Google after hours on earnings. Be careful of what could happen at those levels tomorrow if we do see a little bit of a rejection. So guys, I just wanted to make this one quick, get you guys some updated levels here, some crazy things going on here in the market, downside intraday, upside after hours because of earnings. Welcome to earnings season. Welcome to where technical analysis can change on a minute-by-minute basis. This is what we love to do, right? This is why we trade, but we have to be prepared. We have to understand what to be watching. So I hope that this video gives you a little midweek update on the levels that you have to be watching. If you guys enjoyed it, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure to come to the pre-market live streams every single morning starting at 8 a.m. This is where we'll do update analysis in the pre-market as the market is trading, get you prepared for every single trading day. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.